The status window had already revealed the truth about this secret zone. Secret Zone, Trial of the Claw. Lu Fan and Xiao Fei moved forward rapidly through the frozen ruins. Lu Fan had already transformed into his golden dragon form, his body radiating powerful dragon energy. The Dragon King lying before them, frozen deep within the ice, was not alive. It was only the corpse of the Ice Dragon King. When Lu Fan arrived beside the Dragon King's right claw, the status window opened again and displayed a special effect. Eternal Ice Barrier. The surface of the Ice Dragon King's right claw was constantly covered by a thick layer of ice armor. Blocks 80% physical damage. Blocks 60% magical damage. The moment Lu Fan saw the claw, he decided to test its defenses. Without hesitation, he activated Emerald Blessing. Turning toward Xiao Fei, he ordered, "Activate Emerald Blessing!" This ability placed 3 to 6 stacks of dragon aura on the target, greatly increasing the damage dealt by the next several attacks. At the same time, the little dragon unleashed another ability, Current World. A deadly poisonous sludge spread across the target, reducing its defensive abilities by 50% for 10 seconds. Seeing the opportunity, Lu Fan launched his special dragon attack, Judgment Claw. The claws of the Golden Dragon King ignited with blazing golden flames. His next 2 claw strikes dealt massive additional damage, converting 20% of his stamina directly into raw power. Together, Xiao Fei and Lu Fan attacked simultaneously, striking the right leg of the Ice Dragon King's corpse with tremendous force. All of Lu Fan's dragons, along with Lu Fan himself, launched their attacks at the same time. Among them, the little dragon released a poisonous strike, spreading corrosive energy toward the frozen claw. But the moment Lu Fan's attack struck the icy surface, nothing happened. Not even a scratch appeared. Lu Fan stared in shock. Just then, a status window appeared in front of him, revealing the truth behind what had just happened. Ability detected, First Energy Matrix. This ability created a shield of ice crystals across the surface of the claw. The shield could absorb 50% of all incoming damage, converting it directly into energy. Lu Fan felt a chill run down his spine. Does that mean it can absorb all of my attacks? He looked at the massive dragon claw again, confusion and tension building inside him. Then, a terrifying realization struck him. If it absorbs enough energy, it will definitely unleash a powerful counterattack. He had barely finished thinking about it when suddenly, the dragon claw moved. With a violent motion, it slammed down. A devastating shockwave exploded outward, destroying everything within a large radius in the blink of an eye. The status window immediately displayed the skill responsible for the attack, Winter's Judgment. When the Snow Dragon King strikes the ground with its right claw, it releases all the energy it has accumulated, creating a massive ice storm within a 50-meter radius. Any enemy caught within the storm suffers severe damage and a drastic reduction in defense. Physical defense reduced by 40%. As the attack rushed toward him, Lu Fan did not hesitate for even a moment. He immediately activated his defensive skill, Supreme Shield. This powerful sacred barrier had once belonged to the legendary Golden Dragon King himself. Once activated, it generated a protective shield that granted complete immunity to all damage and attacks for 5 seconds. The raging storm crashed into Lu Fan's barrier, and in the next second, silence fell over the battlefield. Lu Fan finally understood something important. This thing was not a simple physical defense. It was a shield made entirely of energy. By absorbing attacks, it could also launch devastating area-wide counterattacks. It seemed almost indestructible. Yet Lu Fan narrowed his eyes and thought carefully. But if it's a system like this, then it must have a weakness. Somewhere, there has to be a flaw that I can exploit to take control of it. Lu Fan quickly devised a plan. He instructed Xiao Fei to activate the power of the Emerald Mirror clone. Go! Without wasting a second, Xiao Fei soared into the air and instantly activated the Emerald Mirror ability. The unique feature of this skill was that it could select a single allied unit and create 2 identical clones of it. These clones inherited all the skills of the original ally while retaining 30% of the original unit's power. However, at any given time, no more than 2 clones of a single unit could exist simultaneously. For allies who were dragons, or who carried even a trace of dragon blood, the effects of this ability were doubled. By now, numerous clones of Lu Fan had already appeared, each one mirroring one of his dragons. As a result of this cloning, Lu Fan's overall strength surged dramatically. Then, all the dragons combined their efforts and launched a perfectly coordinated assault. Lu Fan commanded them, his voice echoing with authority. "Unleash the power of lava explosion!" As I mentioned earlier, friends, the lava explosion is an extremely destructive ability. With flawless synchronization, every dragon released its own lava explosion, concentrating their combined power onto a single target. However, the moment the attack struck, something unexpected happened. It had almost no effect. The dragon corpse absorbed the power of every attack. Realizing this, Lu Fan understood that their efforts had been completely futile. They needed another strategy. Without hesitation, Lu Fan began circling around the corpse, searching for any possible weakness. He carefully examined every inch of its massive body, knowing that the moment he attempted a direct attack, the creature's defense mechanisms would instantly activate. For a moment, Lu Fan couldn't figure out how to defeat it. Then suddenly, he sensed something. A realization flashed through his mind. He had found its weakness. With a thunderous roar, Lu Fan shouted, "It doesn't matter anymore. Your weakness has already been exposed before me. Now, it's my turn." At that very moment, Lu Fan ordered all the dragons to attack. From every direction, the dragons unleashed a relentless barrage of attacks. The assault was nothing short of catastrophic. Within moments, the clawed arm of the dragon corpse was severed from its torso and crashed heavily onto the ground. Inside the severed arm, something strange was glowing intensely, a mysterious golden object. The moment Lu Fan saw it, he instantly realized that the defense mechanism had completely failed. This was the moment he had been waiting for. Lu Fan and all his dragons gathered their power once again, forming a massive blazing fireball. Without hesitation, they hurled it directly toward the severed arm. After a series of continuous and powerful strikes, the ice surrounding the arm finally began to melt. Slowly, the golden radiant object hidden within was revealed. But at that exact moment, a deafening explosion shook the entire area, and flames burst out in every direction. Lu Fan's dragons immediately retreated and quietly settled down to the side. Now all the information began appearing in the status window. The trial of the right claw was finally complete. Lu Fan immediately reverted to his true form and landed upon the frozen ground. Then his gaze shifted toward the second portal. As he drew near, a loud cracking sound suddenly reverberated beneath his feet. The ice beneath him shattered with a violent boom, tearing open into a massive fissure. It appeared as though the entire frozen surface had split into two distinct halves. At that very instant, a notification appeared in his status window. The system identified this location as the ruins of the Ice Dragon King. Without a moment's hesitation, Lu Fan crossed the massive fissure and pressed onward. After walking a short distance, he suddenly came to a halt. Raising his fist, he struck the ice with the full force of his might. However, the moment his fist impacted the surface, he grasped the reality of the situation. The ice neither yielded nor showed the slightest trace of a crack. Lu Fan quickly realized the truth. Until the entire process was complete, the gift could not be fully unlocked. He would have to successfully clear all 7 stages before the system would grant him permission to claim it. Now everything made sense. The next challenge, the hidden domain of the left claw, lay directly before him. Taking a deep breath, Lu Fan steeled himself and prepared for the next trial that awaited him.